Hello everyone. I'd like to tell you about one particular wine that has just arrived that means a lot to me. I'd like to tell you about some other things as well, but the focus of this week's video is this right here. This beautiful, let's say dark pink wine. Dry, yes, but a little darker than some of the rosés we've brought in, right? Well, this is the king of rosé, called Tavel. They especially think it should be called the King of Rosé when they're in Tavel making this stuff. This is from a region called Tavel in the Rhone Valley of France, in the southern Rhone, and this particular region is just across the river, the Rhone River, from Châteauneuf-du-Pape, a name you know well. Well, this region cannot make white wine and put Tavel on the label. It can't make red wine and put Tavel on the label. This is a rosé only appellation. Isn't that cool? Tavel must be rosé. It must be pink. And it is usually made of Grenache. This one is in fact Grenache and Cinsault and Syrah and just a little bit of Claret, a white variety that brightens it up a little bit. This is the Domaine Amido. It just arrived and it is imported by a fellow named Charles Neal. Charles Neal and the person who represents his wines to us, Tom Switzer and I, and a couple of other blokes were in a van together in, I believe, 2009, flying through France, checking out all of the different producers that Charles represents to us, seeing them in the flesh and looking at their vines and admiring their terroir, having fantastic food with them. And when we stopped here in 2009, we had the opportunity to taste out of different tanks, different terroirs of Tavel. In other words, this was January. The wine had been fermented back in, let's say, October, maybe September, and had not yet been bottled. It was still committed to tank. Big stainless steel tanks, no oxidation going on. What is so cool about Domaine Amido is they have vineyards within the region of Tavel where the soil types are quite different from each other. One of the vineyards that they own has galets roulés. Those are the big rocks, and sometimes little ones, that are obviously rolled. These roll down from the Alps prehistorically, and they, of course, are famous for lying around in Châteauneuf-du-Pape across the river, but you also see galets roulés here in Tavel. So one of the vineyards for Domaine Amido is in that kind of soil. Here's some limestone. Some of the Domaine Amido vines are in limestone. And finally, a soil I cannot easily show you called sand is the base for some other vines for Amido. Well, all of these are kept separate. These soil types represented in different tanks. And Charles Neal has the opportunity to go in as the importer to say, I would like to make a proprietary blend with you guys, have my name on it, and it will be exclusive to my importing business. In other words, other people buy rosé from these guys and take it to Denmark or take it to China or who knows where. But Mr. Neal here gets to make the call on his own particular blend. Charles worked on a blend. He took tastes from different tanks, assembled them. Tom and I did this as well. We were all together playing and trying to beat each other's blend. It was kind of fun. And Tom and I came up with a blend. We both kind of agreed that we liked more of one particular terroir type because we really liked the licorice and kind of crazy herbal things that were coming out besides the fruit. Whereas Charles said, nope, this is what we're doing. And of course he has to put the money down, so he gets to call the blend. So the final Charles blend had a little more fruit to it is what my feeling was. Anyway, he gets to do that every year. The new 2020 has just arrived. Tavel, the king of rosés. As you can see, it's darker, it's a little richer. What's the deal here about do you like my hat? Have you heard of this book called Go Dog Go? It is certainly one of the greatest literary works of the last millennium. That and, gosh, I can't think of anything else that comes close. Go Dog Go, gotta read it. It's a fast read, but profound, full of subplots, and a wonderful denouement. But you've got so many great inner stories in Go Dog Go, and I think you could spend semesters on this one great literary work. But one of the great sub-stories is these two dogs that are meeting each other throughout the book on occasion, and the woman who resembles a poodle is constantly asking the man, whilst wearing a brand new hat, do you like my hat? And he says typically, no, I do not like that hat. This is all resolved at the end of the book wonderfully, and you've got to read the book to know what the hell I'm talking about. Go dog go, find it. At any rate, this is all about, like, do you like my hat? As you can see, my hat says Tavel on it. I just want to tell you that this means a lot to me. I've had it since 2006 when a friend of mine and I poured wine at the Hospice de Rhone event down in Paso Robles. And the Hospice de Rhone brought in, at the Mid-State Fairgrounds, there are people who work with Rhone varieties all over the world. You would have Dave Powell there pouring the Torbreck wines from the Barossa Valley of Australia. You'd have folks from Priorat, Spain. You would obviously have people from the Rhone Valley of France. You'd have people making California versions of GSMs and such. And what a great community there was for an entire week in Paso Robles every year while this Hospice de Rhone thing was in full fling. We were pouring at a table where we were pouring one importer's wines. We were kind of hired for the weekend to pour different things from Rasteau and such. Right across from us was a woman who was representing the entire Tavel region. In other words, kind of like the Tavel Wine Growers Association. And this young lady was very kind to allow Bill and I to keep just offering our glasses, and she would give us another Tavel every, like, let's say 5 minutes. She must have had 15 of them in front of her, 15 different Tavels. We were in heaven. It was great. And at the end of it all, she said, and would you like a hat? And I would like this hat. So that's why I'm wearing the hat. It's my Tavel hat. I ain't never throwing it away. I'm now going to find out about this wine for like the 4th time this weekend because I've been anticipating it. What a great nose. Tavel is a bigger, richer, darker rosé. I think it can even appeal to those who drink only red wine because it's got a little more mouth to it. It goes with food that you wouldn't normally pair rosé with. Like more delicate Provence rosés don't necessarily work with like pork, things off the grill. You do chicken on the grill with this, it sings. You do it with this November's Thanksgiving turkey, it'll work so well. It can handle heavier foods, German food even. Grenache and Senso, Syrah, and the white wine called Claret, all happening here, grown thoughtfully in 3 different terroirs, and then assembled by a very thoughtful importer that we've been working with for a very long time. Come in and get your Domaine Amido. It's been very, very hard to get rosé this year from Europe. It's been very slow in coming, and this has finally just arrived. Normally we would see this like 3 months ago, but you've heard about the boats, right? I'm gonna lose the hat. Sorry for the hair. Do you like my hat? Domaine Amido, it's on the wine bar menu. Why don't we get to that? What are we doing on the wine bar menu this weekend? Well, this rosé right here. We don't have to say anything more. I think we've digressed enough. There's a sparkling wine every week, and the sparkling wine of the week. Sometimes we go high and mighty with champagne, and other times we come back to earth and show you an affordable bubbly like good cava. Well, this is one of my favorite inexpensive cavas called Mercat. Mercat means market in Catalan. So this is obviously made in Catalonia, Spain, Catalunya, we might say, and it's going to be made of the 3 primary cava grapes, the Macabeo and the Parellera and the Xarel·lo. That's the weird one spelled with an X. And here you go, having a Brut Nature, so I think it's a no dosage, meaning no sugar added, so it's brutally dry. This weekend's supposed to be warm. This is a solution to that. Try some Mercat. Start your wine bar time with us off with a very nice bubbly. Now, this is cool. This is not about just one wine, but about 2. You may recognize this Toumi Sauvignon Blanc as a product of the Silver Oak people. Toumi Sauvignon Blanc, along with the beautiful Toumi Pinot Noirs that are made by the same producer, are absolutely lovely. And I'm looking for my skinny glass. I didn't want to throw this out. No, good, I've got a solution to that. Lots of glasses in my office, typically. I don't know how they get here, but I'm constantly taking glasses out of my office back to the sink. Here's the Toumi Sauvignon Blanc. Some of the fruit is from the Napa Valley. Some of it is from Sonoma County. Boop. If this is the new vintage, the new 2020 is here. We're pouring this as the crisp white wine by the glass on this week's menu. But wait, there's more. Tomorrow, Saturday, from 3 to 5, Kenzie Temple will visit us. She works for Silver Oak. And because Silver Oak's semi-annual wine release party has to limit its number of attendees, Kenzie doesn't have anything to do this weekend, so she doesn't have to work up at the winery at that event with a smaller attendance, and so she's offered her services to us. She is going to come down and pour what? This for you. You all get a free taste of this. Anybody like ordering a glass of wine from us can also have a free taste of the new vintage of the Silver Oak Alexander Valley Cabernet. Now, this one says 2016, but as of next week, we will have the 17 here. She's bringing some bottles ahead of time, and she will offer you a taste of that beautiful 17. And by the way, if you haven't yet seen our email about it, I'll republish today and say that we are offering pre-sale pricing on the 2017, the incoming vintage. This particular beautiful, iconic, consistently great and super ageable Cabernet Sauvignon. Alexander Valley Silver Oak Cabernet Sauvignon is lovely, and you get to find out for yourself if you're here from 3 to 5 tomorrow and get to meet Kenzie. So why not have their Sauvignon Blanc and prepare yourself for a nice taste of this. And indeed, get in on that pre-sale. We have very, very nice pricing. Some of it's actually hidden. We don't want to put it out all over the place, but if you buy 1 to 5 bottles, it's a very nice price compared to what we usually offer. And then if you buy 6 or more bottles, if you go to town and like maybe plan your Christmas gifting ahead of time by buying a bunch of it, you know how giveable this wine is. Anyway, it's the right time to buy it. Buy now, give later. How about that? So, Silver Oak, you can do the pre-sale. You can also taste tomorrow with Kenzie. Kenzie's a sweet lady. You'll like her. Let's tell you what else we're doing in the wine bar, shall we? This is a really cool flight, super appropriate for this time of the year. And we are telling those people who don't like light reds, well, stay the hell out, sorry, because we are going to refresh you rather than giving you like ponderous red wine this week. And this week's red wine flight, we're mostly lighter, but no less light. These wines are certainly profound. They're heavy in profundity and just a little more delicate in body. This is Grignolino. That's the name of the grape. Some of you folks, longtime visitors to the Napa Valley, ironically, may know Grignolino as a product from Heights Vineyard. They have been making Grignolino for decades, perhaps the only well-known producer thereof in California. But this is, in fact, from its homeland of northwestern Italy, the region of Piedmont, if you will. Grignolino never makes a big dark red. We never want that. We never anticipate that or want that from Grignolino. This is, in fact, a wine that you will slightly chill. In fact, all of the reds this weekend we're putting in our cooler, not the refrigerator, but like the wine storage area, just to get them down in temperature, to refresh you. See the color here? Not all that dark, right? That's typical Grignolino color. Pop. Wow, it's the fruit. It's very punchy. A nice amount of spice, a little bit of tannin, makes you hungry. And in fact, what you do with a red wine, especially from Italy, a red wine like Grignolino is have charcuterie. And that's what you could do if you order a cheese and meat platter off of our wine bar menu. That will be super appropriate with this Carossa Grignolino from, I don't know, do you roll your R's in Italian? At any rate, wonderful stuff from Italy. Fresh, it's got a wonderful pop. We are going to continue that theme with wine number 2 and take you down to Ballard Canyon, Santa Barbara County, to visit our old friend Pete Stoltman. Let's find you a label without a drip on it. There, that's a little prettier. This is called Combe. I don't know where he came up with that, but Pete Stoltman is like somewhere, man, it's there on the bottom, Stoltman Vineyards, and it's on the back. So this is a Stoltman product. You guys, most of you by now know that we do a lot over the years with the Stoltman products, but we have never seen this variety done by them. It's in fact a fairly new product for them. They are now growing a grape called Trousseau. Trousseau originally from the Jura region of eastern France. Yet another grape, red grape, that does not make dark red wine. We don't, well, it can, but when it is dark red, it's a little funky. They, at Stolman, intend to make it in a fresher, more delicate style, and look at that color. I mean, it's like there's hardly any color. The nose is, whoo, it's ethereal. Wow, strawberries and a little sense of pepper, and poof, it's gone, just like Kaiser Chaussee. Mm. Have you ever had a poofy red? This is a poofy red. Not poopy, poofy. It's good. It's fluffy and delicate. I think you're gonna like this. If you don't need heavy, big ass dark red wine all the time. I don't. Not on a hot summer day, that's for sure. Hence this, okay? It's really cool. The first trousseau we have ever carried at the Wine Steward, and we didn't even know Stoltman was growing it and making it. Pretty cool. Now we're gonna have two wines on the wine bar flight that represent the same producer. The producer is Domaine de la Colette, and we were talking about importer Charles Neal earlier. We're gonna be talking about him more in the future, the near future, because we are determined to have an event using his wines. Tom Switzer, his rep, and I will duke it out one more time out in front of, 24 of you on some upcoming Tuesday evening. And Tom will cook and, just some little victuals to go along with 12 different wines from the importer Charles Neal. Well, just to kind of kickstart that, we, in fact, brought in that Domaine Amido Tavel early, and we are bringing in two beautiful Beaujolais from the same producer early as well. This is a producer in a cru. That is one of the 10 better parts of the Beaujolais region, Southern Burgundy, some people will call it. They are in the cru of Renier. Well, this is from vineyards that cannot be called Renier, like right over the border, right across the street from where they live and where they make wine in Renier. So these are their other vines, and that's why it is called Beaujolais Village. So it's a more Vin Ordinaire. There's nothing ordinary about this, however, and I'm going to prove it to myself yet again, if I can find the damn bottle. There it is. This is lovely. It's a 2020. So in other words, it's quite young, and Gamay like this, you simply do not need to age. I don't think you're going to get anything better out of aging it. This is not the Nouveau stuff. This is the Gamay grape treated more traditionally with a crush and a typical traditional fermentation, not Beaujolais Nouveau, okay? Same region, but more serious and frankly better wine. Yeah, better. Woo. We have just gotten darker, as you can see, but the wine is still happy. All of these reds this week have a certain joy and refreshment going along with them. One by one, we're grabbing you and getting you into Gamay. We're very proud of the fact that that little category down there next to Burgundy didn't used to see a lot of activity, and now more and more people, especially on a warm day, or of course at Thanksgiving, are asking about good Beaujolais. Go no further than this. Delicious stuff. Actually, go a little further than this for the next bottle. Looks the same, doesn't it? Well, read the fine print. What are we seeing here? Morgon. Morgon is one of those 10 crus, so this is theoretically more important wine. What you don't typically see is Morgon at this price. It's actually low 20s, I think, for the wine club members. And Morgon is thought to be, I think, it's thought to be because I think it is, one of the 2 or 3 best crus of those 10 of the Beaujolais region. Crus, once again, are neighborhoods within Beaujolais. They're places that are thought to be the better growing region. So you've got Beaujolais at large, and then within it, you've got these little sections called crus, C-R-U. Morgon. This overnighted just fine. It smells great. Opened yesterday. A little darker, a little smokier. It smells more substantial. This is 2 years older. Morgon likes a little development. You can actually age these a little bit longer. By the way, we have magnums of another Morgon that Kermit Lynch brings over. Magnums. You can age it in your temperature-controlled cellar for probably 10 years if you want. Nothing's better than an aged magnum of great cru Beaujolais. Maybe nothing's better than that, but this comes close. Lovely, dark, and still easygoing. The Gamay grape never frowns. Delicious, delicious. Now, somewhat in keeping with the theme of fruit-forward fun, and yet for wine number 5 to finally take it up a notch in size, we are bringing you a wine from the Central Coast. Some of this fruit is from Paso Robles, some of it's from farther down in the Santa Barbara County area, I believe. And this is a combination of Grenache, Syrah, and lo and behold, Petite Syrah. You thought I was going to say Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, didn't you? But this is GSPS. How about that? And this is from a producer that we've just gotten to know. Like within the last couple of weeks, we said, by all means, we will bring in 2 of your wines. So we have 100% Syrah from them downstairs as well. But to cap off things for this week's Wine Bar Flight, we're going to pour this wine from Nell. Nell is the producer, called The Bedlam. Sounds frightening, but there's nothing frightening about this beautiful, fun, easygoing, slightly chilled red. Again, we want all of the reds on a hot summer day to be coming out of the, right out of the wine cooler and straight into the glass. We don't want them at room temperature, right? Let's let that fruit pop. This is freaking gorgeous. Man. Yes, we've gotten bigger all of a sudden, but the fun of Grenache is still keeping this wine joyous. It's got the kirsch, some rich smoke, a little bit of the meatiness of like the cured meat of Syrah is happening in there as well. Blue fruit, black fruit, compote. I think I said smoke, but I should say smoke again because that keeps coming back. I'd love to cap off your red wine flight with like a final act like this, because you've liked these wines. I know you're gonna like them all, but you're gonna move from delicacy up into the like slightly richer Beaujolais, and then boom, this is just like showstopper. Everybody's gonna like stand up and applaud. I know it. Very small production, good stuff. It's pretty cool that we just met these guys. We'd never heard of them before. Somebody was very proactive about saying, hey, wine steward, you look like our kind of wine shop where we'd like to have our wine represented. May I please come in and show you the stuff that we make? And they pulled it off. That's about it for today, but I do want to say that we just got in a nice shipment, a brand new fresh shipment from Puglia, Italy, of burrata. And Leslie was kind enough to remind me just before production of this video that these were they arrived today. And you know what's probably happening? You finally have tomatoes out there in that garden of yours, don't you? So finally you can have your long anticipated burrata insalata caprese, where all you need are tomatoes sliced up, and then some of this beautiful stuff on top, and drizzles of olive oil, maybe some black pepper, maybe some coarse salt, and certainly some basil. Hopefully you're growing that too. At any rate, it's here, it's summer, the reds are designed for this time of the year. Don't breathe in too deeply out there, it's kind of smoky all of a sudden, but do come in and see us. Please wear a mask on your way in, and anticipate some next events. A Charles Neal event. Sooner than that, Tom Kelly shows Italy in 2.5 weeks. You'll soon see that offered on our website. So our old friend Tom Kelly is finally emerging from his cave. We hope to see you soon. You know what? We just lost power. This is the most interesting ending of a video ever. Wow, power outage. Thank you very much. It looks like the phone is still working, and we'll be putting this on YouTube any minute as soon as we get some power on. Thank you, and good night.